Oh, cool. We're live. Hopefully everyone can see me. Oh, where have I put my beer? Well, appreciate that's probably not the best thing to do. Unable to connect to chat. Please try again. Let's see. Can we? Oh, don't know what to press there. I don't know what that is. Pinned. Huh. Chat's come out, but I did see someone was chatting. One more. Pop-out chat. Let's try pop-out chat. Yes. Martin, hey up. How's it going? Pant Beard, evening. How's tricks? All good, I hope. Hopefully I come through all right. Maybe I need to put some more light on this beautiful visage. I thought I'd do this because I quite enjoyed it last time. It was nice to have a few drinks and just chat about stuff, you know, as it goes. I am having a difficulty with this chat thing now. Why is this not doing it properly? Maybe if I put that, does that? Yes, that might work. There we go. Robert's your mother's brother. So Christmassy background. I thought while we're waiting for people to come in, and just really, have you got any questions? Are you happy for me just to chat and kind of waffle for a bit about stuff coming up? But I remember somebody asking, oh, what have we got here? Yeah, so this is one that I need to actually make some content on. There's two watches that I've got. I probably should have brought my drawers closer to here. So there's this one, and I've completely forgotten which one it is. It'll probably say it on the back. Let's check. It probably does somewhere. Where does it say it? The GBD 200. So yeah, testing this bad boy out, and I forgot. Not really forgot, but there's another watch which is the Garmin Instinct, the solar one, that I'd been testing out, or at least I'd picked up, and then I put this in the drawer and kind of forgot that I need to actually put some miles on this. I have put some miles on it as far as testing it out when I go for a run. I've probably done several runs between 5 to 10k with this, but I need to do some more so that I can have something. It's good to have something to show on the app when you get the app working, and show that off as well. So I've got a couple of watches that I need to kind of pick up my act on, and then there's another one that I've seen as well. One of my favorite watches is no, it's not a Casio. It's the Timex Expedition, the Scout one. Oh, seriously? See, I'd seen the T-Rex Pro is one that I've been looking at, because I think Amazfit, having tested that Neo out, I was really impressed with just the quality of it, because it's a nice, reasonably inexpensive watch. I've known a few people that have picked up the T-Rex Pro, and they've been happy with it. But I do know that there's been people not so happy, because when you're working out, you can't. If I'm right in saying, when you're working out and it's on the, I don't know, the keep fit mode, you can't go back and you can't check other times, and you can't have a look at other activities on there, can you? I think it might be one that I might pick up in the new year. And there's the other two. Is it the GTS 3 and the GTR 3 Pro? I think there's a couple that are. Hi, Freddie. Wow, Nicaragua. That's a distance away. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. You coming into the call. Coming into the call. There you go. I sound like I'm at work on a bloody Zoom conference call. So yeah, I was quite impressed with the Maze Fit. I might try and pick some of those up. Maybe look at a few more reviews for the T-Rex Pro. I forgot what I was talking about before. What was I talking about before? Yeah, there's a couple of watches, a couple of bags. Battery life is not as good. I think the thing with the battery life with a lot of these kind of watches is I suppose it's very similar to like the olden days when they'd get a car and they go, yeah, you can do 60 miles per gallon. That's 60 miles per gallon with no seats in the car, with the parcel shelf took out, with the wind behind you on a very fair day, isn't it? I think it's the same with the watches. It's when they go, yes, it's got a 21-day battery life. It's not really like that in the real world, is it? If you've got notifications on, you've got this, that, and the other, and you go out and run 2-3 times a week, or go to the gym 2-3 times a week. It's it's hard to be able to get what they get out of it, which I think really you just need to charge it and just leave it somewhere for 21 days and go, there you go, it managed. I'm also, yes, so hopefully I might be able to get my hands on some of the Urban Tactical pants. So this year, I see it's a bit of a pat on the back for me, to be fair. So who did I start working with first? I started working with Tactree, who are one of the largest kind of EDC outdoors websites here, which I was really chuffed about. That I think that was the first one I started working with them this year, and since then I've also started to work with Henny Haynes, and also started to work with Military First, which I'm for a small channel like mine, I'm really glad that I've managed to kind of get my foot in the door. That sounds bad because obviously I'm not just tapping them for free stuff, but it certainly helps to be able to get some stuff to review rather than kind of having that slowed down because I'm waiting to gain cash. As I mentioned in my giveaway video, I'm making about £150 per month. So a lot of that goes into lots of little things, which you might have noticed on a Sunday, I'll try and do a larger item because I can get out and I can film all day. Whereas on a Wednesday, I tend to do smaller things, mainly because I'm working from home at the moment rather than having to go into the studio all the time. I can record on my lunch. So that money that I'm making goes straight into lots of little things, whereas some of these I call them larger ticket items mainly because I'm really happy with the generosity of a lot of these sites that they manage to be able to send me this sort of stuff, and I've always been open with them. Comes down to the review. I want to make sure it's as honest as possible, but they're giving me this stuff to be able to test out. So I want to make sure that I can send people back to there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I might be able to get my hands on some of the Urban Tactical pants. I was really impressed with the shorts. I don't know if you guys find the same, but I think the modern it's hard to bite the hand. Well, I mean, yeah, it is hard to bite the hand that feeds you. You're right. But in a weird way, I had a bit of a dilemma recently, and that is that a company got in touch with me and they said, we'd like to do a sponsored video. And I've never done a sponsored video before. It's new to me, in the fact that as part of the sponsor, they'll pay me. I mean, I suppose I can tell you. So I won't name the company, but they were going to pay me $50. One, they'll send me the item free of charge, and then they'll also pay me $50 to make some content. But part of it was that, as part of with this $50, they expect me to kind of review it favorably, and it's the first time I've ever had that. Never had that before, and that whole kind of bite the hand that feeds you, kind of, I don't know, what's the word? It's not authenticity. It's, I don't know. I never wanted to be able to say, there's a very good chance that I went back to them and I said, there's a very good chance that the item that you're going to send me, that's it, impartial. I genuinely am going to like, because it's something that I have been looking at, because I try to choose the items. If somebody, there's so many items that people say, would you like to review this, or like to make, evening James, would you like to make some content on this? And I'm quite truthful in the fact that I just don't think it's an item that, not that I don't like, but it's not something that I'd get enthusiastic about. So this item that they'd asked if, they said that they'd sponsor me to make this content. There's a good chance that I was going to like anyway. It has been something that's been recommended by people through this. But I went back and I said, because I wanted to have that impartiality, I don't think I can accept the $50. I said, however, I'd love to make some content on it. I'd love if you want to send me this item, and then I'll make some 100% impartial content. I could have said at the beginning of the other one, if they had have paid me, I could have said, although they've paid me this $50, these are still my opinions. But I don't know, there's just something that makes me think, if I'd have seen someone say that, would I believe them? And they were more than happy with, I mean, they've saved $50 as part of their marketing budget. So they're going to send me an item, which obviously they'll have to pay for. But yeah, that kind of bite the hand. It's a fine edge, mainly because a lot of the stuff that I do get sent stuff from manufacturers to make some content on, but I've never been asked, we want to pay you $50 to put this on your channel. You need to make something that's positive. So it was a bit of a dilemma. I spoke to my gym buddy about it at the time, and we kind of talked about it, and he said, yeah, it's probably the best thing to do, and go back and say yes, but no. So yeah. But getting back to the tactical pants, I really liked the shorts, because I find a lot with these kind of trousers, they really do wear quite high on you, don't they? I think with modern trousers, it's kind of become the thing that the waistline goes down just a little bit. I know they're not like hipster kind of things, but I find with the Urban Tactical shorts, they do wear just a little bit lower, which, I don't know, it just kind of suits me a little bit more. It fits underneath the gut, the Moorlander gut. Yeah, and I think that's the thing as well. I think if it's possible, I don't know. I like to think that I'm helping you guys make informed decisions. One of the things that I get a lot of feedback on is that people appreciate the detail that I go into in my content, and hopefully that helps you guys to make more an informed decision if you are gonna spend £70 on a pair of trousers, that you've got more of an idea. I want to go into every pocket. I want to go into this, that. I want to go into the hems. I want to check the stitching. I'm a bit kind of anal about that sort of stuff. When I see other people go, yeah, they're nice, and make a 2 or 3 minute piece of content, I'm the kind of guy that is more than happy to sit down and watch a 30-minute piece of content, because someone will go in and tell me every single inch of what X item does, which is kind of cool. And hopefully you guys kind of appreciate that. On the sorry about that. On the trousers side, I might be getting some. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Arctis, which is ARKTIS. Arctis are another UK company that make a lot of military gear, which is also useful for outdoors kind of stuff. And it's a few people from a few other pieces of content have mentioned their name. Hey, how's it going? Hey up, Duck. A few people mentioned their names and a certain lines of their clothing. So I think hopefully in the new year I might be working with Arctis as well, which would be really cool because they make some amazing stuff, absolutely amazing gear, which is another kind of nice thing to test out. By the way, tonight's tipple is the fabulous Dune bar, and this is going down very well. How do you spell that? So it's A-R, I think it's ARKTIS. I like the fact, they're a British company. Some of the stuff that they make isn't made here in the UK, which I accept that. I don't mind that. I think to be able to work on your costs nowadays, there is a lot of stuff being made in Southeast Asia, Vietnam at the moment, and making some absolutely amazing gear. If you look at a lot of the major manufacturers out of there, 511, even Helicon, a lot of their stuff is made in Vietnam because of the quality of the stuff that they're making. So I'm glad that it's all designed here in the UK. They're a UK brand, and they are. I think the majority of their stuff is made in Vietnam. But they did say on some of the talks that we'd had that they do have some other manufacturers, which I'm guessing things like plastics, things like fixtures, buckles, zips, all of that sort of stuff. I'm guessing a lot of that will come from China anyway. I'm sure, although I don't know this, I'm sure YKK probably have a lot of their zips and buckles and fixtures, all of that sort of stuff is made in China, mainly because it's reasonably cheap. That's the first one down. I have a few more. But I've been finished for a few days, so I'm off now until the new year, which should be pretty good. I'm actually looking quite forward to that. You're on there now. One of the things I like about Arctis is very similar to Helicon Tex. I think the best thing with Helicon Tex is someone somewhere in Poland has just got this absolute cavern full of every camo that's ever been made. I just love the fact that you go onto Helicon Tex and they go, "What color do you want it?" We've got 25 different colors. And Arctis are very similar. I think a lot of their jackets, a lot of their pants, a lot of the shirts and different things that they've got. I think for the vast majority of them, they've got 5 or 6 of your standard colors, and then they've got all of these crazy ones. And one of my favorite at the moment is the ScanCam. Is it M90? M90? I think it's M90, which is the Scandinavian camouflage. I really like the look of that. So it's a very strange kind of camouflage. It's mad that it actually works. But it reminds me of a lot of the camouflage that they used to paint they used to paint the boats during World War II, and it was literally just huge geometric shapes on the side of boats, which is nuts that would be useful. But I guess from a low angle and U-boats and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think you're right as far as hey Alkis, how's it going? I think you're right, especially as far as yeah. I mean, like you say, with Fjallraven, some of their stuff is quite expensive. I got who did I get an email from today? I, I'm a bit of a fan of Tad Gear, although I've never owned. Hey, how's it going? Although I've never owned any Tad Gear stuff, I like it from a distance. And they regularly send through like oh we've just released this new jumper, and it's like an old fashioned naval jumper that you used to see guys working on the side of the roads. It was just a wool jumper with the padding on the elbows and then across the shoulders and then across the yoke. It was like 300 and I think it was $298 for a wool jumper with some padded elbows. And I don't know, I think when you're talking about money for certain things, I think we all cut our cloth accordingly, don't we? And I suppose that getting back to our naval terms, one man's $50 is another man's, or at least budget. One man's $50 is another man's $290 for a nice jumper. Which is one of the reasons that on my content, although sometimes I may mention something as maybe like a budget friendly item, I try to stay away from talking about how much things cost. I'd hate. I'm just trying to think how to put this. I do worry. I worry about lots of things. We all worry in life. We've all got pet niggles and stuff. But I'd worry that if I ever said, "Oh, you should just buy this. It's brilliant. It's dead cheap. It's only £100." That I don't know. It would put people off thinking that maybe I was trying to not put them down. I don't know. I mean, maybe I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but our own, however, what value we put to an item is completely dependent on one, how much money we're earning, to how much we value something in life. It's nuts, isn't it? I've got friends that will quite happily spend £150 on a pair of nice walking boots, but when they go to the garage and somebody says, "Oh, a new exhaust is going to cost you £150," like, "Oh, 150 quid for a bit of metal." Yeah, it's weird how we attribute value to things, isn't it? So yeah, but yeah, you're right. I don't think it's too much, but I especially think if you can get the value out of that, if it's a £70 item for a pair of trousers that you're going to go and you're going to walk in, I think you ever have one of those items that you buy and you wish you'd bought two of them straight away because you think, oh man, I've had these walking boots for the last 10 years and they cost me £100. And I've definitely got my £100 out of these. And the kids are looking at you because they think you're nuts. Because it's like, Dad, you've got a pair of boots that are older than me. I'm like, exactly. That's why I love these more. No, just kidding. So yeah, it's weird. That kind of stuff. I'm sure there's some psychology somewhere behind how we attribute in our own frame of mind the difference between want and need. I think Maslow, I'm going off on one. Maslow, I think, was a psychologist that had a hierarchy of needs. Was it needs? I think he said that the most important need was shelter, then it was heat, then it was food, and all of this it kind of cascades down. But yeah, when you think when you think somebody will go, oh, I'm not paying £30 for that, but they paid £70 the day before for a bit of shiny metal that they're just going to kind of sit in their pocket for a bit. Morel's a brand that I really do need to look more into. I don't know why I've never had a pair, because I have seen a lot of them, and I understand a lot of people genuinely absolutely love them. Where did I work? I worked at Go Outdoors, 2011, I think it was. I was made redundant, and it was one of those. I need a job. I'll do anything, and ended up working there, and it was great. I worked there for a year and loved the place, and ended up buying, because their discount's crazy, the amount of discount that they get there. But I ended up getting a couple of pairs of Salomon I got a pair of Salomon walking boots, and I got a pair of Salomon trainer kind of approach shoe kind of things. And ever since then, I've loved them. Absolutely amazing. The Chameleon was another one that I was looking at the time. As I was buying my first pair of Salomons, somebody was buying some of the Chameleons. I think the Chameleons are their kind of. So is that I think the Chameleons just that kind of step up as well. And yeah, it's crazy. It's one brand. I mean, I say one brand. There's a list as long as my arm as far as brands that I'd love to test out more and try different things with. But I think Merrell, through no fault of their own, just through that kind of, I just picked up that on one day. It is one maybe that I'd like to test out more this year. I think with who's Tack Tree asked if I'd like to try out those Bates boots, and again, it's just another brand that I'd never come across, never even heard of. I know that they're an American brand and they've been around for a long time, like 200 years, maybe not 200 years, but they've been around for over 100 years. And it was nice. I think testing out something different and getting outside of my comfort zone. If it's a bag, I can talk all day about a bag, but testing out some boots was actually really cool, because it was just something. We all walk everywhere. We'll put shoes on the vast majority of the day, or I'm generally barefoot anyway. But yeah, it was nice to test out something. So I think hopefully, if maybe I can afford, and I can steer some funds into that, maybe try out a few different pairs of shoes this year. See, I do know Mindle, so yeah, so Mindle are amazing boots, aren't they? They are. I have a few friends that for their kind of lads weekend out isn't like I don't know, we'll go to York for the weekend, we'll do a couple of walks, we'll climb up York Minster for a laugh, and then we'll just get absolutely legless in the evening. Their idea is, right, okay, we'll go to the Dolomites for the weekend, and then we'll go and climb this mountain, and then on the way down we'll make sure we sleep on the side of it, that kind of thing. So when they're looking at boots, they're always looking at your Mindle boots, making sure that they are, I forget the ratings on them. There's certain ratings on them, isn't there? So that you can go, you can put a soft crampon onto these, or you can put a full hard crampon. I forget what it is now, but yeah, they love those kind of, yeah, those sort of boots. But they're the kind of guys as well. So everything's got to be RAB or mountain equipment, all of that kind of stuff, which I get. You want to make sure if you are on the side of a mountain and it's snowing and you're thinking of cutting your left hand off because you're hungry, then you want to make sure that your gear is going to be useful for you. Hopefully your left hand is going to be edible as well. The vape. See, so getting back to the Merrell side, I do have. What am I on about? I have got a pair of Merrell shoes and they are the vapor. They're either the vapor glove. I can't think which ones they are. But as I mentioned, I tend to be barefoot a lot of the time. I'm maybe just a bit of a hippie. But that whole kind of barefoot boot or barefoot shoes, I really like those. Just the fact that there's no rise between the heel and the toe. My feet are like the Incredible Hulk. They're a mashup. If there are any old school gamers on here, you'll know the likes of Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter. When you used to see pictures of those, their feet would be like this big triangle. So my feet are like that. So when my toes spread out, with those vape gloves, it's got loads of room in the toe box for you. So they're definitely one that I am gonna look into. There's a few sites that I see those popping up every now and again. They're not too expensive, so I might yeah. Sure, I could, or whatever it is that he says. There you go. That's been saved on the internet for prosperity and for all to see in the future. There you go. Yeah, so that's the best bit about it. It really does. Although you're wearing shoes, it's great in the fact that you really don't feel like you're wearing shoes. So yeah, maybe that's a little bit more that I'll try and go down next year as well. I do like to try out different things. I think it's good to push yourself, push your own boundaries every now and again, and do different things. I think with EDC, as I'm sure you're probably all more than aware, it's such a wide kind of spectrum of things, isn't it? It's a great community, and I love the fact that if you're into watches, then I don't know, you hang around with watch guys. That's what the watch communities do. But with EDC, you've got the knife guys, the backpack guys, the wallet guys. Everybody kind of comes together, and we all just bounce and enjoy each other's banter and conversation. And I think that's the best bit that I quite like about this. So how many EDC items are you buying or receiving roughly a month? I think it depends. So I'm trying to think how many items I've got now that I'm waiting to make content on. I've probably got a dozen. No, I don't think it's that much. I've probably got 7 or 8 different items at the moment that have been sent to me. And then as far as purchasing, I'm probably doing the same, mainly because at the moment, because I'm doing 2 pieces of content a week. Hey, how's it going, Quintus? Because I'm doing 2 items a week, I'm at the point where, especially because it's the winter, I want to get outside as much. I'm pointing because that one that I do when I'm indoors with the grey wall behind me, that's that's in my bedroom, which Mrs. Moorlander hates that I keep doing stuff in there, but it is the way it is. So with it being the winter, it's useful to have lots of different things so that whether it's raining or whether I can do it indoors. So I've probably got about a dozen or so different things at the moment. And then as far as purchases are concerned, I'm probably getting another, say, 4 or 5 different items each month just to be able to top that up. The difficulty sometimes is just kind of knowing what it is to get next, which this year more so is probably the first year that I've actually got my act into gear and started writing notes. So I've now got my Google Keep app. So as soon as one of you guys mentions something, goes, "Oh, you should try this," first thing I do is I put a note in there, what it is, maybe a link if I can find one, and then who's mentioned it. So I like to make sure that if I make some content that's been recommended by you guys, then I'll give you a shout out for that. Do you keep everything or do you sell things? Now, so everything that is sent to me, I generally keep that, mainly because I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit old-fashioned. I'd hate to think that somebody would send me something that maybe, I don't know. I'd hate to think that somebody would send me an item that was reasonably expensive, because some of the stuff that I do get, it's not cheap stuff. And I'd hate them to think that I've asked or they've sent it to me just so I can make some content and then I can just get rid of it. So to Mrs. Moorlander's hatred, I've got lots of different bags and all of these different things. Like so while I was setting this up, just in case there wasn't going to be any on here, so this is my knife drawer, where I keep all of my knives and things. And so I've got a knife drawer, I've got a watch drawer, I've got a flashlight drawer. But I think sometimes it's useful, and this is a bit that kind of we were talking about earlier, as far as people being generous enough to be able to send me things. I think if somebody sends me something and I use it in a piece of content once, as a business, they've been, as I say, generous to actually send that to me. So you might notice in quite a few of the wallet reviews that I do, a few of the knife reviews, that sort of stuff. If there's something that's like a comparable item, I did that review the other day with these two wallets. So and the other wallet's actually in my pocket because I've been using the Joey ever since it was sent to me. So I want to make sure that I can help these other companies to get to be seen. I think it's a fair and it's a right thing to do. But then there is a lot of stuff that I've bought myself that really I probably should sell on. But I think again, so like, let's say what's that bag? The Rush 24. So I've got the Rush 24. It's a good yardstick, isn't it? So if I had another bag that came in that was similar to that, I think it's good to be able to compare different things so that you can see how that would compare against another item that's in the market that's comparable to that. So some things I have got rid of in the past, and that's mainly through people that have just maybe contacted me through YouTube and gone, oh, I'm really struggling to find that. And I've just said, look, if you're struggling to find one, then make me an offer on this, and I'll send it to you, and different bits and bobs, that sort of stuff. Exactly. Main objectives certainly make a massive choice, and I'm glad it helps. I am glad that helps. One of the main reasons that I got into YouTube and doing this sort of stuff was to make the kind of content that I like to watch, and knowing that it helps you guys, it gives me out of it what I need to get out of it. It's that kind of, maybe at some point somewhere deep down low in my psyche, I'm the type of person that likes to help other people, which I mean, I don't have to guess that. I know that, so I think that helps. Most carried pocket knife. Now, it's weird that you should say that because I will have it in here. And the most carried knife that I have is the knife that I own. Oh, where's it gone? Oh, it's here. Most carried knife is the knife that I own the most of. I have 4 of these, and that's the Sword Peasant. I absolutely love this knife. there's just something about a friction folder. I don't know what it is. I like the safety of a friction folder, the fact that that tang is in there and it's not going to come out. But the fact that you can pick these knives up for, I think they'll be like 10, 12 pounds. Sandvik steel, you can't go wrong with Swedish steel. I think it's Swedish steel. I apologize if everybody watching this again. Well, actually, you'll find it's Danish. But yeah, I really do like these knives, and these are the knives that I carry the most. I easily carry these knives more than any other knife. In fact, I'm going to make it my mission because Ford have got 8 or 9 different colors of these, and you know, at one point I would like to own one of each color. I think that'd be cool. I appreciate you doing that, Foot Privileged. Oh, thank you. Only with that, brilliant. Yeah, and I think that's the best bit with comparisons, because I think a lot of times with comparisons, there's certain items that a lot of us will have already owned. We've all owned a Swiss Army knife. Probably the vast majority of us at some point will have owned a Rush bag, whether it's the 12 or the 24. So being able to compare them against items that we've all kind of got a good knowledge of, I think it's always useful to have. Oh, I'm glad that you came on the chat too. It's nice. What knife do you carry? Especially, just casually. So this was originally my idea. I thought if nothing comes of tonight and there's not a lot of people on here, that I'd just steadily go through my drawers. So this is, as I say, this is the, maybe that's a piece of content. Maybe one day I should do like what's the channel? Do you guys watch Demolition Ranch? One of my all-time favorite YouTube channels is Demolition Ranch. Matt from Demolition Ranch. Not to go into it too much because it can get a bit depressing, but in my low points when 2018, I was absolutely crippled with depression. Couldn't get out of bed, couldn't talk, couldn't walk. And Demolition Ranch, I'm not going to say saved my life, but I owe a lot just to that one channel. And it's brilliant, absolutely amazing channel. If you've not watched it, I highly recommend that you check him out. The main guy on there, Matt Carricker, is a vet, is in like a veterinary, a vet. He deals with cats and dogs and stuff. But he plays on that a lot, especially because he's using a lot of guns and stuff. Brilliant channel. But I think one of the things he did, because he'd been asked so much, is we want to have a look at inside the Demo Ranch Armory. So maybe that's something I'll do one day. I'll make a piece of content where I go through, and these are those, like, you know, those old school filing drawers. That's what these are. So this is my knife drawer. Although Mrs. Moorlander has been going through, she's been going through a lot of stuff recently. So I've just got random things in here like wallets. I took a photo of this the other day. I absolutely love this. So this was my grandpa's hit flask. Prop on with a little metal on the bottom, and then silver, and then leather on the top. But yeah, just loads of random stuff on here. European plug adapter. Yes, that would be the name for that piece of content. What is in the Moorlander's drawers? Or would you like to see what's in Moorlander's drawers? I imagine it would be like that scene from Kevin and Perry Go Large, where Perry pulls the front of his trousers forward and he's got like maggots and stuff all kind of rotting in there. Oh, hey, see, so look, the far-reaching tendrils of the Moorlander community. So we've had a Nicaragua today, and we've also got an Australia. I think they are possibly the two farthest points that you could get from the kingdom of the Moorlands. all hail the Kingdom of the Moorlands. Here's another drink to the Kingdom of the Moorlands. Just in case anyone's wondering, I am on the Doom Bar tonight, which is a lovely amber ale, and yeah, this is nearly 2 down. I think I'm at the point where I need a garage. I definitely need some space. I think I need to maybe to go through the Kingdom of the Moorlands and maybe try and see if I can find somewhere that I can start to stash some stuff. I'm at the point where I've got quite a few bags that have got bags in bags, and then there's bags in bags and bags. there's definitely gonna have to come a point where I'm gonna have to. I could do with that. What's that guy? Is it Colin Furs, the guy that does all the crazy stuff? I could do with him coming. Maybe that's what I should do next year for a collaboration. I should get Colin Furs to come and dig me a huge. Yeah, I need a bunker. I need a proper old-fashioned World War II bunker built in the back garden, and then get him to come and do that for me. I think that'd be pretty cool. I have got a collaboration that I've been working on. It's going a bit slowly at the moment, but hopefully around March time we should. Oh, here, there we go, sir. There's another one from India. That's really cool. So hopefully March time. This is when I've slated it in. I also like to watch knife. People making knives. Do you know, like who's the guy? Dies in every film. He's a UK knife maker, and does a lot of weird stuff in Deadpool masks. And there was a worldwide collaboration where I think it was 17 different knife makers from all around the world, and they've all got channels. They all made their own version or interpretation of a Bowie knife, and then when they all posted exactly the same weekend, and then just had somewhere locally that they could online they could do a vote, and it just got me thinking why there's a community. I know, I mean, as a community out there, but as a community on YouTube, there must be plenty of EDC guys or gals. We should be doing more like this to build on our communities. And it just got me thinking. I thought, why aren't we doing something like this? So I've reached out to. I'm trying to think who I've got through to. So George Defined, who is another one of my kind of YouTube idols. I genuinely love that guy. I think he's amazing. Accessorize Me, Max Level EDC, Shoe Monster Tech, John Gadget. I think there's a couple more, and I apologize if any of them are on here that I've completely forgotten. But I think there's going to be about 6 or 7 of us that we're all going to make a piece of content, and we're all going to release it the same weekend, which will be John Gadget. I mean, me and John, we're not really on talking terms, mainly because we're competition here in the UK. But he's a really nice guy, actually. So we're gonna make this piece of content that I got the idea. I don't know if I'm sure you probably have. Best Damn EDC regularly does like I've got $600 and I need to do a EDC complete carry. So I know knife, tool, wallet, flashlight, keychain, that kind of thing. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're all going to have this imaginary $600 budget. I don't think I can certainly splash out $600 just on one piece of content. But we'll all do this piece of content, release it the same weekend, fingers crossed. I've sent them all an email, so fingers crossed. It should be the first weekend of March. But again, you know, I mean, plenty of things might change between now and then. But hopefully, if it comes off, I think so. Okay, it's crazy you should say that, but I found out about Ron Kwok yesterday. So I generally have. I'm looking for my phone. I don't know why I'm looking for my phone because you're not going to see me on my phone. But I've actually started to follow him on um, YouTube and Instagram today, mainly because I just stumbled across him yesterday. I ended up clicking on an alpaca elements backpack video. I was again just kind of looking at somebody else's interpretation on it, and it was Ron's. So I might get in touch with Ron and see if he's up for it as well. I'm sure he probably will be. So Taylor Martin, he's a really nice. I mean, he comes across as a really nice guy, and I absolutely love his content. And I have reached out to him. I've emailed him. I've messaged Best Damn EDC. I've messaged. I mean, I felt a bit cheeky messaging his personal one, but I mean, I made sure I put in there that I apologize if he felt that it was inappropriate for me to email him to message him directly. And I'm also part of the Best Damn EDC Facebook page as well, and I've asked on there if anybody knows of a way or if anybody is in contact with Taylor so that I can ask him directly if he'd like to take part. And in a way, I mean, he is the guy that I got the idea from. I mean, I'd love if Taylor could be involved. I even got to the point that maybe I was thinking of asking you guys at the end of the video, hey, let's all spam Best Damn EDC to see if we can get their notice so that they can be part of this. But I thought that was probably a little bit too cheeky, so I certainly didn't. I didn't think that it was right to do that still. Yeah, maybe that is a bit cheeky. So the two people that I didn't know, so there's three people that I didn't hear back from that I thought would be really cool to get involved. Taylor Martin from Best Damn EDC. There you go. I've forgotten the guy's name, but the guy that does Metal Complex. I don't know if you've seen his channel as well. He does a lot of knife stuff, but he's very vocal about the fact that it's not just knives that he likes. He's completely into that full kind of EDC thing. So I thought it'd be really cool if he got involved. And there's another guy which I thought was a real kind of stretch, but I thought I'm going to email this guy anyway because genuinely I think he's a very cool guy. I don't know if you've come across Jeremy. I hope I pronounce his last name right. I think it's Sears, Jeremy Sears. Just a damn cool looking dude. Nice big long beard. I get beard envy every single time that I watch his stuff. But I think for EDC stuff, he does some really, really amazing content. I thought it'd be great to get them involved as well. But hopefully, if this does, I mean, it should definitely come off. It's definitely going to happen next year. Fingers crossed it happens that first weekend in March. If not, it's definitely going to be close to there. It's just making sure that we can all make some content and get it out that same weekend so that we can have a vote on it. And then I think it'd be good if we did this as a regular thing. I don't think it's going to be an every fortnight kind of thing, but if we did it, say twice a year, I think that'd be a good thing. I think there's definitely, I think it'd be good to build on the whole community, but then also for each of us to be able to build on our individual communities. Salut mon ami, bonsoir. That's to Metal, to Monkey EDC. Yeah, Jeremy's got some really good content. He is one suave, sexy ass mother individual. He really does come across as a nice guy. I really, really do like his content. I'd love to have that room that he shoots all of his stuff in, with the big nice chairs and the tables and that sort of stuff. I was joking with Mrs. Moorlander the other day, just about. I think there's a thing with, in the US, being able to have all of that land. When you look at US houses compared to UK houses, they're always generally a lot bigger than ours. What direction do you see the channel taking next year? Do you know what? So I'd like to keep building on Moorlander EDC, but I think so. I find in life that I know what I'm good at. In my day-to-day job, you always have those 6 monthly reviews, and it's like, oh, where do you want to be in 3 years? And I'm the kind of guy that goes, do you know what? I'm happy to be where I am now. I just want to be better at what I'm doing. It's not one of those I know my station in life kind of things, because I'm always striving to do bigger and better. But I'd be happy that I'm continuing to do what I'm doing now, but just getting better at it, making better content. So as far as where I see Moorlander EDC over the next 12 months, I just want to be able to get better content out to you guys, whether that's in the way that maybe I get a different camera, or maybe few different cameras, so that I can do things from different angles, that sort of stuff. I have been thinking about maybe some of the investment that I'm putting into EDC stuff, that maybe 1 month, if I manage to be sent quite a few items, that instead I can channel some of that money maybe into some filming equipment. But hopefully, I'd like to still be doing what I'm doing now, so that I'd like to make sure that, I think the one thing that I worry, and again, sorry, I keep using the term worry. I think the one thing that I want to make sure that I concentrate on is still making stuff on items that I enjoy making content on. One of the guys that you might notice that that comments quite a bit, Triple Bite, nice guy from Germany, and we've talked quite a bit about different things. And I'd mentioned that maybe I was thinking of doing this and doing that. And one of a bit of advice that he gave me is, I think the reason that people come back to Moorlander EDC is because they enjoy seeing me talking about these things. So if I tried to do other stuff, that maybe I was pushing myself a little bit more outside of my comfort zone, that maybe it wouldn't come across as genuine. Hopefully that makes sense. I probably waffled quite a bit on that one, but I think the direction is that I feel that I'm on a good course at the moment. So I still want to do all of the kind of stuff that I'm doing now. I think with YouTube heading the way that it's heading, not to get into too much about the politics of what's going online at the moment, I think you might find that there's probably a little bit less knife content, which again, I'm not doing because I don't want to. I enjoy doing that, but there's a lot of channels that are getting grief for making that. But other than that, again, I just want to kind of continue to go down where I am. I did have some ideas though, and it's whether or not to. I think I mentioned this before, and it's whether or not to split the channel and maybe go a few different ways. This year, I got into airsoft, and I'm quite enjoying that. I know a lot of the items that I get, a lot of it is that kind of tactical kind of stuff. But I've not served, I've not been in the army, and I don't want to come across as this wannabe kind of tactical guy, because I'm not that. I like to get outdoors, so that's something that I'm mulling over. But I think that might be an offshoot. That's not going to continue with Moorlander EDC. That will probably be maybe something separate, but I don't know, because I think the difficulty with that would be making content for two channels at the same time. So it might be tough as well. Evening, Kester. I hope you're well. Yeah, so I had thought about doing more outtakes, and generally it's just me going fuck off, and getting stuff wrong. Weirdly, if I've not took my meds in the morning and my stammer comes back and my brain just doesn't function properly, so generally that's when you get the funniest outtakes, because by the time the meds have kicked in and I'm editing the content, I'm sat back going, oh, you absolute bellend, and then thinking, yeah, I'm going to put these in because they are quite funny. Oh, I appreciate that, Martin. Yeah, I'm glad that you find that, and it is that kind of passion that I want to keep there. I don't, although I do like to push myself, and there'll certainly be some newer things this year that are hopefully, well, next year, that are slightly outside the boundaries of the stuff that I've done before. But I want to make sure that it's still stuff that I'm interested in, so that you can kind of get that excitement from me. Oh, I hope I come across as a regular guy. Yeah, I definitely take that as a compliment. New Age, check out New Age Tactical. Oh, okay. I'll certainly try those out. I've certainly, a friend of ours, she that's one compliment that she gives me. Like, she's like, "Oh, you're such a character." It's like we've been fast forwarded back to the 1900s, but yeah, I certainly appreciate that. Yeah, I am thinking about doing something with airsoft, but I don't know if. Oh, sorry, I just moved my mouse. I don't know whether to do it. I don't think it will be like your Kicking Mustang kind of channel where it's him doing content where he's out getting headshots and doing that sort of stuff. I think it would be more along the lines of one of my all-time favorite channels. And here you go. Greetings from Germany. You are perfectly timed, Christian, because one of my all-time favorite channels is the EPIG group. Although my German isn't the best, they have very good subtitles, and I don't know if you've come across them before. But Martin on the EPIG group he's awesome. He's got he started off with a bit of a beard, but he's shaved this middle bit now, so he's got this massive kind of mustache and lamb chop kind of setup. But yeah, so if I did go down the airsoft route, I think it'd be less of me running around a field, because I mean, all you're going to hear is me just panting my arse off. I'll just be absolutely knackered. But more of the equipment side of airsoft rather than the actual field and that side. But again, I'd want to make sure that it came across as genuine when I'm talking about certain items, because a lot of that stuff mainly is designed for infantry men and women to use and that sort of stuff. But it's to make sure that it came across as genuine rather than me talking about stuff that I might have just been ham-fisting my way through and fluffing a lot of stuff about that sort of stuff. How did I get into EDC, or how did I get into YouTube? I suppose I could answer both of those. So I got into EDC just through life. I think a lot of I know from talking to a few of you through the comments and stuff. I grew up in the Staffordshire Moorlands. Behind my mum and dad's house was a field, and then another field, and then a brook. Oh, and into airsoft. I'll get back to that one then. So EDC, I just got into that because I was always out. I was just always messing around in fields. But I got into airsoft because randomly through YouTube, and people seeing it was a lot of the Tasmanian tiger content. It's another one of the things that I did quite early in my YouTube life that I'm incredibly proud of, being a Tasmanian tiger UK ambassador. But so I think a lot of people misunderstood the fact that, well, I think they just assumed that I was previously in the army or something. So they emailed me. They managed to find my email and asked if I'd like to take part in this 24-hour airsoft military simulation kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, why not? I'm always up for the crack. And it was through that. So the time that was meant to happen was just at the time that a lot of the God, what was it now? I think it was the third lockdown. I think it was the third lockdown. So just as that event was supposed to happen, the third lockdown kicked off, and it ended up being cancelled. But then a few guys that I worked with, that I just happened to talk to them about it, mentioned that they did some airsoft, and they asked if I'd like to have a go, and I was like, yeah, I'm more than happy to. I ever since I was young, growing up in the Moorlands, I always, I think it was a Webley Vulcan, which was one of the break barrel air rifles. We probably all had one when we were kids. But yeah, so I had one of those. So I've always been into trying to see how far I can shoot. And the guy, although I probably shouldn't say this here on the internet, but so the guy, I think with airsoft you have to do 3 games over a 6-month period, don't you? So, but he said that he'd get me a rifle, and I said, well, because I like to go out and I like to shoot anyway. If I picked up a sniper rifle rather than a one that you need batteries and stuff for, one, it's cheaper to get into, and 2, if I played airsoft and realized that I actually hated it, I'd still go out, because I go out shooting with my guns at the weekend and just do that sort of stuff with my girls anyway. So if I had an airsoft sniper rifle, then I'd continue to use it even if I didn't play airsoft anymore. So that I mean, long story short, that's what it came from, an event that didn't happen. But after that, I've quite enjoyed it. I like so I've got 2 ghillie suits now that first one I've made into a more of like a grassland ghillie suit, and the second one that I've got, because we play a lot, there's a forest that's grown in an old abandoned quarry. So there's a lot of woodland. It's kind of split between 2 areas. There's a lot of grassy areas and a lot of woodland areas. I find it absolutely fascinating, these different kind of camouflage, concealment elements, and how they work, and different bits of material that when you hold it in your hand, you're like, nah, this is ridiculous. I'd see you with this. But at 20 meters, it blends in, and absolutely fascinating. And I think that's something that I'd like to do as well. But again, that would be completely away from Moorlander EDC, and that would be Moorlander Airsoft or whatever it is. Maybe if that worked, if people were interested in it. Are there many of you? Are there many of you here that play airsoft. I'm probably getting maybe a little bit too far down into the airsoft warren at the moment. I'm just trying to think of things that are coming up. So I've got another item from a journal. Oh, in fact, it's here. So I don't know if you know Ventum Gear. So Ventum Gear got in touch with me. When did they get in touch? I think it was a while back. So they have this little pouch, which is also a little bag. I really like this. They're a small company, but for the size of their company and the items that they're putting out, this is really nice. So that's coming up for a review. Oh, what have we got here? What do I do other than YouTube? Oh, that's a good point. I mean, at the moment, YouTube does take up quite a bit of my life. There's the content on Wednesday and content on Sunday. I've always been a creative guy. In my day-to-day job, I work in medcoms as I'm a medical illustrator, which really doesn't make sense when I try to explain it to people. But you know, when you go into a doctor's surgery and you see a picture on the wall where there's bones and a skeletal system and endocrine system and all of that sort of stuff. So I draw those for doctors and large pharma companies. So I've always been kind of creative. So I think that's helped me with YouTube. I game a lot. So I have a few guys that I game with a couple of nights a week. I like to read comics. If there's ever a point that I just get some time to sit down and just chill. I love Marvel comics. I've always been into Marvel comics ever since I was a lad. They've got a bit political recently. I just want to read a comic where I think it's a lot of things, you know. I just want to watch something where it's supervillains against heroes. But yeah, that's the kind of the stuff that I do outside of YouTube. Yeah, I also watch a lot of other YouTube channels. I could quite easily never watch any more terrestrial television ever again. I could quite happily be entertained with YouTube for the rest of my life. The grey bearded green grey did a video. I might have seen some of his stuff actually. I've watched a lot of different things about different types of ghillie suits. Again, I just find them absolutely fascinating. There's a guy actually, my wife and daughter may have come home just in case you hear the hounds barking. But there's actually a guy close to me, so he lives in Macclesfield and has a business there making ghillie suits, or at least making like the base for ghillie suits, because then you have to add the foliage and all of that sort of stuff to yourself. So I might try and see if I can work out maybe some content that I can make with him. But again, this is all whether I do decide to kind of take it on a separate route and to do these two things together, or well, to do them separately. Yeah, I think that's another reason that I've really quite got into airsoft. It's just the fact that I've just always been fascinated. I've always been fascinated and had a real interest in a lot of this kind of military stuff. I think a lot of it stems from going to my granddad's farm in North Wales, and he'd talk about the war. And my other granddad, he was a Royal Marines commando during World War II, and you pick up stuff, and especially from the people that you respect, and you help you to mold you in life. Yeah, and let's face it, it is just like playing soldiers. Apart from the fact, I'm not going to get shot or blown up, or the horrible things that do happen to real life soldiers when they're out and about. It literally is just like playing with toy guns. Apart from the fact that, I mean, it slaps and it hurts quite a bit. Hey, most level EDC. Same would like to get. I mean, you should definitely get into it. So there's sites all across the UK, and the community are really good there. When you go, you can pay for the day, and you can also hire equipment as well. So the equipment that they'll give you will make you'll have enough. It's not like paintball. When you go to paintball and they go, it's free, and we'll give you 1,000. We'll give you 1,000 paintballs, and that those 1,000 paintballs will last you 5 minutes. That's it. Oh, okay. How much is another 1,000 paintballs? £40. Oh, now I know where you get your money from. So you can go there for the day and get, say, like 3,000 BBs, and you'll still go home with 1,500 BBs at the end of the day. So if you're thinking of it, just do it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Or message me if you're close to the Kingdom of the Moorlands, where I play. You're more than welcome to come and play with me for the day. You can hire some equipment there, and yeah, they're absolutely amazing crowds. You get the odd person that likes to shoot you in the butt and it really hurts, but you'll get them back at some point. Oh, thanks, Ben. I'm glad. I am genuinely glad that you. In fact, I'm wearing one now as we speak because I was doing some work today. The Hawk Rigger belt. When I reviewed that, I've never looked at another belt, so I'm kind of it's a bittersweet kind of thing because I love those belts so much. But the arcade belts, when you're sitting down for 6 or 7, 8 hours a day, it is so much nicer that you can get something that just moves. So yeah, they are really comfortable. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I think maybe that's something that I could dip my toe into that second channel if I did decide to go ahead with that second channel. Um, and maybe I could do one that is more of a, this is what I bought and this is how I've made it into this kind of ghillie suit. There's quite a few different ones out there that I'd love to be able to just play with. I genuinely want to make, and you've all seen it. I guarantee you've all seen it. There'll be somebody in a local park lying on the floor or sat in a bush, and then when somebody walks past, then the guy in the ghillie suit will go, "Excuse me, love, have you got the time?" And the person goes, "Oh!" and runs away, and the dogs bark at him and that sort of stuff. I'd love to make one of those pieces of content just because it's just funny and it'd be good to make. So I definitely like to do something about the ghillie suits. But again, I think if I did that, I'd want to make sure that I'd got enough knowledge and an experience that I could give you what possibly you needed and maybe information that wasn't incorrect. But then I don't know. Maybe I think someone put this earlier that they appreciate that I'm just that kind of everyday kind of guy. So maybe it would be useful just to make some content from an everyman's sort of perspective rather than a military guy that's been making ghillie suits for the last 50 years kind of perspective. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, it does come down to spending pennies, unfortunately. Yeah, that's always the case. Oh, yeah, I'm glad that you like the content. Look, I mean, I am very fortunate in the fact that I have access to Photoshop and Illustrator and Premiere Pro and After Effects and all of that sort of stuff. So Yeah, I am quite lucky in the fact that I get to take advantage of some of that sort of stuff. But then on the flip side, when I first started making content, I was making that in PowerPoint, because I use PowerPoint quite a lot, and it's surprising how much video editing and even like bits appearing across the bottom of your screen when you want to put notes in and that sort of stuff. It's surprising how much kind of stuff you can do on the cheap. The venue that I go to is called the Kingdom, which is just outside of Cheadle. So it's called, the company is called OPTAC, OP-TAC, and then the Kingdom. So that's, in fact, let me type it in here so that you've got it. So that's where I go to. There's two of them locally to me. There's one called, I think it's called Anzio. Which in the Moorlands after World War II, there was a US Army base that was set up in the Moorlands, and that's become derelict now. So they use this US Army base as their site, and it's really nice, but it's a bit too overgrown. Whereas the Kingdom is it's about 200 meters away. Well, actually, it's a field and field and field, and a river and a field and a wood behind my dad's house. So yeah, me and my brother used to go kind of messing around there when we were young. But it's a great place to go to. It is. It's a good one. Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, there is some cheap stuff out there that you can get. Army surplus stores are certainly good for that kind of thing. And I think that old school DMP is still one of my favorite camos. Yeah, it's really nice. I suppose it's the British version of M81, isn't it? That kind of woodland. Hmm. That was that. Um, the essential pack was kind of my first outing with. Oh, hey Hans, that was my first outing with Tasmanian Tiger. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time, and I got in touch with them and asked if I could make some content. And understandably, a lot of the content that you find on YouTube, it's all in German. You know, they're a German company, and I said that I'd love to make some content in English if that was something that they'd be interested in. And I think it was about 3 years ago, Tasmanian Tiger had started to kind of put some feelers out of Germany and really out of Europe as well. I think that was roughly when they started to make, they'd gone over to the US, and I think they're also US and Canada, and that, how do you say it? The AUE, the United Arab Emirates. So yeah, it was really well timed for me to make that connection with them, and yeah, I still love that bag. I like the newer version, which is the day pack, the Tasmanian Tiger, the day pack. But there's just something about that essential pack that's such a good bag. You can really, although I know I don't recommend that you beat the crap out of it, but you really can beat the crap out of that bag. It's an awesome bag. Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, I take that as a massive compliment. I get quite a few people from Germany saying that they enjoy my content more than some of the German content. So I definitely take that as a massive compliment. That first one that I made was the bit that I did I did the German at the beginning of it, which was probably really cringe when for people that are in German that they're talking about that. I need to purchase, and this is I thank you for saying that one. I do need to pick up a patrol pack. The patrol pack from Hazard 4 was my first venture into larger military style backpacks. Absolutely loved that bag. I did a lot of getting outdoors with that. Unfortunately, due to my naivety, I was traveling with work, and it was one of those moments that you just see people saying when you're traveling, always keep your eye on stuff, because I put my bag down. I went to say something. I was trying to find some friends that I was with, so I put my bag down and went, "Hi, yeah, I'm over here." And then as soon and it was gone. It was 2-3 seconds tops. So I think if I picked up the patrol bag, I could make some content on the day one that it arrived. I love those bags. They are absolutely awesome bags, and another one of those that you can pretty much beat the crap out of. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hazard 4. I'd also like to try out one of those Plan Bs. I think they're a bit of a strange old kind of sling bag, but it's definitely something I'd like to try. I like the fact that Hazard 4 seemed to be one of those companies that just like, let's just try this, a bit different. They kind of have the confidence to go, let's try it. Whereas I think some other companies generally tend to maybe keep it a little bit safe. I'm sure there are probably lots of German speakers here tonight. I'm not even going to try and say something in German and completely embarrass myself. So my last effort to speaking German was probably at the age of 13, when I stopped learning German at high school and started to learn French. So weirdly, I'm more than happy to say that, hi, I'm Randy, and I'm 13, because I can't remember what it is after 13. I'm so used to saying that I'm 13 years old. Ich bin 13 Jahre alt, something like that, because that's when I stopped learning German. That's when I stopped learning German. Oh, cool. So you got into them through Airsoft. Yeah, they are really cool. I also like geeking out. I don't know if you guys are the same, but I geek out so much watching films, and the Patrol Pack is one that I see so much, and it's crazy that it's not a pack that's in that kind of public eye as much, but it's definitely one that you see in on films in the background. Them and Mystery Ranch, I find that Mystery Ranch kind of appeared, and that's another company, or at least I'd like to try and make some content with one of their packs this year. Multi-tools. So, yes, hopefully, hopefully I will try and do some multi-tools this year. I think last year, and I probably missed that sweet spot, to be fair, because what were the two Leathermans that came out last year? Was it I can't remember what they were called. Was it the Curl and the Bond? I think they were the two that came out last year. So I'd like to pick those up and make some content on those. They're not particularly expensive, and it's my own fault that something else has come up that I've got instead. I had also been looking at the free series too, but I think the thing with the free series, I get the magnets thing. I do get the magnets thing, and I think it's a cool idea. I think it's one of those that I'm not sure if I get it. I don't know. I look at the free ones, and sorry, I'm just trying to when you look at the Victorinox, I mean, it's so well engineered because every single tool in there takes up the perfect amount of space. Is it the 3.7? I can't remember which one it is, but you look at it and then you've got two tools on this side, and then you've got this massive 5 mil spacer on the top of it, and then you turn it over and you've got 3 or 4 other tools, and then another huge spacer at the top as well. And I don't know. I think it's great that they got those magnets in there and they're trying to do something different, and I commend them for doing something different. But here you've got a tool that's got here you've got a knife that's got, say, 5 tools in there, and they've got a knife that's got 5 tools in there, but it's just as thick as an old school wallet. So I think maybe it's one of those. I just need to just get one, test it out, see what it's like, and I probably would be able to get it. The rebar is probably one that I'll pick up. I think I'd also like to pick up. I'm struggling now. What are all the popular ones? No, it's not the swirl. The wave. The wave is another one that I'd like to pick up. So SOG's another one that I'd been looking at as well. The PowerPoint. I think there's another one that's more like scissors. Is it the Super Snip or something like that? I think I'd quite like to pick up one of those. I find that when it comes to multi-tools, I generally prefer the ones that have got some shears or scissors in there. I had this squirt. I've got the squirt. Oh, no, hold on. Yeah. I know, hold on. What am I thinking of? Yeah, was it the squirt? I had the squirt, but instead of being the PS4, it was the S4. And there's the micro. I think I'll probably pick up one of those as well. So hopefully, and again, a lot of it kind of comes down. That's it, snippets. That's the one. Yes. I think I'd love for Leatherman, because I know they've got the Raptors. But I'd love for Leatherman to make one where instead of having, so you got a decent chunky, so that you got a good chunky multi-tool, but instead of having the pliers on the end, it maybe got some secateurs. Maybe not secateurs, but I don't think I'd want them to. I don't think I'd want them to be curved, but like a decent pair of scissors, like some of the scissors that I've reviewed. But then you could stow that, and I know really that's the Raptor, but you've also got some of the other knives that are on there as well. But I do know that SOG have got a couple of items that are more kind of scissor based. I had been thinking about the Swiss tool. The Swiss tool, I recently watched John Gadget did a piece recently where he compared the Swiss tool with another Leatherman. Was it the rebar? I can't remember. But watching that got me thinking, why have I not picked up a Swiss tool? I think there's quite a few of these that I definitely need to make sure that I pick up and make some content on. I haven't got an EDC a Coop squirt yet, but maybe I will pick one of those up. Yeah, the Surge is probably a good shout as well. I think yes, that was it with the Surge and the Swiss tool. I mean, I can see him commenting now. I mean, he's a cracking fella, and you should all definitely check out his channel. But Max Level EDC is the be all and end all when it comes to tools, and also dismantling them and sticking crazy stuff on there. The one that you made the other day, I suppose it was a few months back, where you got this 18-inch saw blade that you managed to be able to fit on to, was it the Wave that you worked out how to fit it on there, which just turned into, I thought that was a great idea. So if you've not seen him already, he's there. you can see him at Max Level EDC as the guy to go to for to multi-tools. So I'll probably ask maybe a little advice from him. Yeah, there goes the wave. On maybe a few to pick up. I think I mentioned that I was thinking when we talked a while back about picking up the wave. And he mentioned maybe that there's a couple of others that were probably just a little bit better. So hopefully, yeah. And again, this is another thing that maybe I'll have a look at next year as well. There's a Gerber one. There's a guy on Instagram. I think it's Cornwall EDC. Is there a Gerber one that you flick forward and the pliers bits that kind of comes out of the end? So let's maybe check out that as well. Let me lend you 5 or 6. I'm sure you could probably make 5 or 6 just from the extra spare parts and stuff that you've got. You've got a lot of those. I think I've definitely been making more of a thing this year to make sure that I write down some of the suggestions from you guys. I think I'll definitely. Well, I've already started to make notes. Just looking at Ben earlier when he mentioned this belt, so there's quite a few that I've got on the list that will be arriving, or hopefully be arriving next year, so that I can test out more. I certainly do like to hear. It's that weird YouTube thing that you're supposed to kind of get, and you're supposed to say, "Oh, I'd love to hear your opinions down in the comments," and that sort of stuff. And I really appreciate the fact that as far as the community that we've, and I say we because I don't think it's just a me thing, but I think the community that we've managed to build around Moorlander EDC it's a very positive and welcoming kind of community. So whenever you guys give some feedback or leave some comments, I do certainly appreciate that, and hopefully I'll be able to pick up on those items and be able to make some content on them as well. I want to take mine apart and try and yeah. Yeah, I think it's good that the likes of Leatherman are starting to appreciate that. It's unfortunate we can't carry locking blades with the knives that they've been able to bring out this year that have kind of circumvented that. I think it's a good thing. With the way that the world is unfortunately changing, people tend to see things as weapons easier nowadays. I think it's great that companies are starting to appreciate that, around the world things need to be a little bit more safer. I think it'd be good in the future if, I suppose for some companies to make 2 variants where you've got a non-legal and a legal version probably wouldn't make sense. So I think it'll be you will probably find that a lot more of these multi-tools will be slip joint, or they'll manage to do it in such a way like the SOG Terminus. This is a slip joint, but this is the toughest slip joint I've ever had. When that engages, I think what they need to do is just maybe think about better ways, although it makes it harder for them to come out. I think if they can create better ways in which they can make a slip joint more safe, I think that would be a good thing. So for the people that have just come on recently, I was worried at the beginning of this that maybe I wouldn't have anything to say. So what I did was this is I've got a set of drawers over there where I keep all of my stuff. I've got knife drawer, flashlight drawer, watch drawer, tools drawer. I've got a drawer. So this is my knife drawer that I just thought I'd grab and go through just in case. So yeah, so that's what I'm reaching down for every now and again. This is why I went slightly off many of the American EDC channels. Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I can see why, especially a lot of those channels are very popular. I think in some ways the US is that last bastion of common sense, whereas the rest of the world tends to be a let's not touch this, it might be dangerous. Well, just don't touch it if you think it's dangerous. But I mean, that's maybe for another video and another day. Yeah, and so, yes, the next tool is one that I need to check out as well. Okay, if Gerber didn't read, no. All right, okay, I didn't realize that was a thing with Gerber. I think the thing with Gerber is I don't know if it's the right thing. Find some of the choices, and I'm definitely not one of these kind of no, everything has to be S30V or kind of guys, but they do tend to go the Gerber knives, or some of the Gerber knives that I've had seem to be more budget friendly steels, so you tend to have to sharpen those a little bit more. I found that some of the kind of the QC side with some of the Gerber items that I've looked at doesn't tend to be as good. Even in America, bladeless rebar stuff. Yeah, no, yeah, I totally get that. The one thing that I love, and I get it, so not to kind of go down the rabbit warren of UK versus America, is just the difference. The difference between, let's say, if you take Texas, you can walk down Texas High Street, if there was a Texas High Street, with a samurai sword and a bazooka, and that's okay. Whereas you go to somewhere, New York, or you go to California, where they have very similar laws to the laws that we have here. Even the gun laws with rifles are pretty much the same as they are here. I love kind of looking at the differences and variances between the different states. I find it fascinating. Yeah, I have. So I mentioned this earlier when somebody asked, "What's my most carried knife?" There is another one in there as well. So there's three swords. Oh, in fact, there we go. There's the fourth one. So I have four swords. Absolutely love these knives. Yes, I did just say yeah. There's I'm sure the same as in America as there is the rest of the world. There's yeah, my nan used to always say you certainly can't teach common sense, can you? Yeah, that's the other weird side as well, isn't it? So you can conceal carry, but there's certain restrictions on knives. I'd be interested to find out from them general. So for myself, it's definitely pens, scissors. Oh, right, okay, sorry. So I read that wrong. Yeah, I've been curious about that myself. It's almost like what's your standard? So for some people, it might just be like a knife, a pen, a wallet, and a fidget toy. Whereas you see some guys that they must have super reinforced pockets because they've got a knife, a secondary knife, a multi-tool, a wallet, a phone, a flashlight, a secondary flashlight. Yeah, it is quite interesting to see what it is that one person calls their EDC as a complete carry compared to another person's complete carry that would be a lot more minimal compared to those. But then again, I suppose there's almost even subcategories within that, isn't it? And that's that kind of Pandora's box that you get into. So for one person, it might just be a knife, a pen, a wallet, and something else. And the next person might have exactly the same, but for the knife, it has to be a Victorinox because they like the multifunction from that. But when it comes to the wallet, they'll only carry minimal wallet because they don't want a larger one. I guess as well, it kind of gets back to what I mentioned earlier around that kind of community, and because EDC pulls in the backpack guys, the watch guys, the wallet guys, the knife guys. We've all got our own take on what's that kind of, just your essential bit for you. So the battery bank charges is something that had been thinking about checking out some more of, because I think with modern tech it always comes down to the fact that it's always bloody running out of battery, isn't it? So yeah, it definitely is something that I've been looking at. Hopefully might be able to make some content on that in this year coming up as well, so I'll definitely write that down. And you are 100% spot on as far as whether you're urban or rural. Um, Although, strictly speaking, at the moment, I'm probably more urban than I am rural. I still see myself as a country mouse at heart. So I think some of the stuff that I carry tends to be a little bit more rural than urban. But yeah, I think if you were to take someone from the centre of Manchester or the centre of New York, say, and compare them to someone from the middle of the Moorlands or someone from the middle of somewhere else, then yeah, definitely a really good point there. And yeah, so that's yeah, Downhaven. It is 100% personal. And I think it's another good quality that I think that the EDC community certainly have. Although you get the odd knobhead every now and again that kind of judges people on what they carry or don't carry. I think we all appreciate more so that it is completely personal to you, and that depends on whether you feel it's right to carry a knife or not, whether you want to look after yourself, because it's all about being prepared to take on the challenges of the day, or whether you want to help yourself and the next person, or whether you're just interested in helping the next person. And a lot of it also comes down to budget as well. Completely depends on the budget. The Tesla phone's going to have a solar panel. I think I remember back in the day, I remember it was a Sony Ericsson phone that they launched with a solar panel on the back of it. And I think it needed to be out for something like 6 months in order just to be able to charge it up. So lighter is also, yeah, a really good one. I've found this year, so I didn't always carry a lighter, and I'm thinking of making again some content on different types of lighters that are useful. Maybe doing like a top 10 lighters kind of thing. So yeah, that's something that I'm thinking of doing as well. Even just silly things, whether you're a smoker or whether you don't smoke, but being able to start a fire. I find it's bits of thread, bits of plastic, that sort of stuff that I need to be able to burn off something. Yeah, I agree with that one as well, Martin. I've I think a lot of it does come down to how much you can carry on the person. I've always been a backpack kind of guy, mainly because when I was a kid, I was just out in the moorlands. I'd always have some sandwiches, some crisps, and I'd just be off. Even if I'm just going for a walk around town, knowing full well that I'm not going to buy anything, I always take a bag with me just in case. Which is kind of where my love from backpacks and stuff has got to. Yeah, there is a lot of new stuff. There's always new stuff out there. I think in the new year we've got SHOT Show and all that sort of stuff happening in the US. So there'll probably be a lot of new things kind of coming out. So if I can pick up some of those things and I can bring you some content on them, I'll certainly try and do that. I use a boatsman lighter. Okay, I've not come across a boatsman lighter before. I'll have to check that out. I did start to look at, so I have a, I'm just trying to think if it's in my knife drawer. It probably isn't in my knife drawer. So I have a Zippo lighter. I have a couple of clipper lighters. And I also have, is it called a trench lighter? Is it called a trench lighter? So it's more like a copper cylinder that you unscrew the end, and then it's got a flint in there. Just make sure that the gas, it's not gas, is it? But you know the what's it that doesn't go away as much. Could be a sailor's lighter. Oh, well, I mean, I'll certainly check that out. Yeah. So where was it? I think there's a company. I think they're a US company called Exotac. They do a lot of little flint style lighters, but they have a little titanium one that again is, I suppose it's a newer, updated version of a trench lighter, which is just like a little titanium barrel that you fill up with the fluid. So I'd quite like to get one of those, but I think I might do. I might pull together a few different lighters because I think that would be a good idea for. Should be another good idea for a piece where we just have quite a few. I might try and see this year if I can do more of the, because I think a lot of my content is always, here is this wallet, and it just talks about this wallet. So I might try and see if possible this, or at least next year, if I can do more pieces of content where I look at, here are my 5 top whatever it is, and maybe do a little bit more of that as well. So it just shows you maybe some more things that I've found. Yeah, so I think especially with the ones that don't run out of don't run out of fuel. I have the old school Zippo that you need to keep topping up. But I might get one of the inserts, one of the butane inserts, because they don't run out. I do. So I do carry a writing pad. Yes, I do. There's a couple of different ones that I carry, and I think because I've been working from home more so this year and last year, I generally haven't picked it up as often. But there is a UK company called Sylvine, and I really like they just have these little notebooks. So I've got a few of those. But then I've got your typical kind of your field notes, your Writes in the Rain, those kind of books. But I find I fill them a lot. So when I'm going out and I'm recording and I'm making whatever, when I write down my notes that I take away to make my content with, I've probably got half a dozen Writes and Rains that are literally just my notes from when I go out and I film stuff. So True Utility is another one of those companies, and I've not got any of their items, but that's not because I've just gone, oh, well, I don't like those. It's just another one of those that I've just always, maybe it's been in my inbox and I've not bought. So it's definitely something that I'll look at as well. I think Go Outdoors have quite a lot of their stuff, and I'm quite friendly with the manager in there. So peanut lighter, yes. So I like the peanut lighter, but I think I want to pick up the peanut lighter XL. Is it, who makes them? It's someone that begins with an M. Is it M? Maritac. But yes, I'd like to pick up the peanut lighter. I think the trench lighter that I've got was, I mean, it was just a cheap one that I picked up from AliExpress. I think that's where I got it from. But yeah, I'd like to get a peanut lighter, and that's one that when I make this content, I will definitely make sure that I pick up. Unfortunately, there you go. Yeah, Maritac. There you go. There's this strange phenomenon that if you want to buy something in the US, a lot of the time, you can buy it there and it costs, I don't know, $20. But there's this strange phenomenon that as it flies across the Atlantic to get to the UK, it triples in price. So when you want to pick one up here, they're just ridiculous. I don't know why, but so I might try and pick one of those up. Now that I've started buying more from Amazon US with that little cheat that I found, I might try and see if I can pick something up from there. Now that the UK is, I mean, whether I like it or not, we're not part of Europe, but one of the advantages that comes with that is the international trade agreement thing. So buying stuff from Amazon US and having it shipped to here is great because it's so much cheaper. The amount of stuff that I buy from Amazon US now and have it shipped here is great. So I'd definitely say, I mean, you say $80 to have it shipped. I'd definitely check out. I think it was, when was it now? I think it was a good couple of months back. So I made a piece of content about buying stuff from the US for cheap, and because we can now, if you buy from the US, you can now spend up to £135 before you have to pay any sort of import duty. And because Amazon is this world global community company now, if you were to buy something from the US and have it shipped to the UK, most of the time it's only about £6 or £7. So you can buy from the US version of Amazon, save £30 or £40, and only have to pay £7 or £8 to have it shipped. I buy an awful lot now from Amazon US, mainly because I get to have it shipped here, and it's so much cheaper than it used to be. I definitely recommend import tax. So because if it's £135, which is about, I don't know, I think it's about $170. I think if it's £135 or less, no import tax. So all you need to do is, when you go onto your phone and you're on the Amazon app, if you go into options, there's an option that you can change the region. So if you change the region to Amazon US, it brings everything up in it brings everything up in dollars. But when you click on it, if it's less than whatever it is, let's say $170, then it'll say next to it, it'll put it there because it knows that you're from the UK, and it'll say that there's no import tax with this. The only bits that I've had that I've kind of got a bit of an overlap is if it's close to that, whatever it is, $170. If it's close to that, it depends on fluctuations in the exchange, and sometimes because they charge you £7 to have it delivered, they'll go, well, we're going to consider that as the actual charge. They are a bit daft, but definitely I definitely recommend checking out that video. And it goes the opposite way as well. There's loads of stuff on Amazon here in the UK that's cheaper than it is in the US, and you can reverse that. It's crazy how expensive some G-Shocks are in the US, and you can get them for half price here in the UK and only have to pay £7 to have them. them delivered. Sorry, I've been waffling a bit about Amazon there, yeah. Hey Kyle, how's it going? Are you going to the National Outdoor Show at the NEC in March? I didn't realise there was a National Outdoor Show at the NEC in March. I will definitely be going to that. Yeah, 100% I'll be going to that. Depends on the weekend. If it is the first weekend, which I think is the 4th or 5th, I'm trying, fingers crossed, I'm trying to get out to Germany. That weekend is IWA 2022 in Germany, so I'm hoping to be able to get in with Tasmanian Tiger. I'll be able to go because I'm one of their ambassadors. I'll be able to go in with them. So I'm thinking of flying over maybe Friday, Saturday, and then coming back Sunday. Hopefully, because it's a lot of the what's call them, the people that go there to show off stuff, the exhibitors, are all kind of part of this, EDC kind of stuff that we all like. And because I'm there as a YouTubey kind of guy. Oh, it's the weekend after. Right, I'm done. I'll remember that. I'll try and remember that. I'll remember that because I get to see this afterwards. I'm definitely going. I'm definitely 100% going. And maybe this is fate. This is fate. Maybe we should organize a date that we all go and we all just go, hey. And you'll all know my face, but I won't know what any of you guys look like. But it'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of awesome. I like those kind of things. The NEC is an awesome place to walk around. Always love the fact that you go to the national dog show or the national whatever show, and there'll always be a guy trying to sell you a knife. It's like this special knife that you can cut up a tin of beans with, and it's like, it's a dog show. Why are you here with knives? We should definitely meet up for a brew and a beer. I think that would be a great idea, actually. Now, although this is all good fun, well, I'm more than happy to stay on longer if everybody else is. This has been going now. This has been live for 2 hours. Do you want? I'm more than happy to keep talking if everybody else is, or maybe if we call it a night. There we go. We should Okay. So we will call it a night for now. This has been 2 hours, but we'll do another one of these, and then on the next one, we'll try and work out how we can all get together and we can all meet up for that at the NEC. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be absolutely awesome. I'd love to meet you guys. I'd love to give you all a handshake. I'm a bit of a hugger, so if you're happy with me kind of getting that close, then I think that'd be an awesome idea, and just kind of see some people and chat and stuff. I think that'd be awesome. And then hopefully that'll be kind of close to the time that this little collab that I mentioned earlier as well, with a few of us EDC channels all putting some content out at the same time. It'll be close to then, and that'll give us all. We'll all have plenty of stuff to talk about as well. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool. But well, for now, I was just checking the date then. It's the 23rd, isn't it? So tomorrow's Christmas Eve. I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas, whether you celebrate Christmas or if there's another religious festival that you do this year. I'd like to wish you happy, whatever that is. And I hope you all get to spend some quality time with your friends and relatives, and get to put your feet up and relax and just appreciate not being at work. So yeah, I guess for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. all have a great Christmas. Speak to you soon.